If you want to do it the cheap way, the free way, like me, I'm all about the free. Points might be a good way for doing it. Always use cashback sites. Did I talk about that? Always use cashback sites. Always. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm combining two of the things I love, finance and travel, because we're now in this kind of stage where things are opening back up. Lots of people will be taking some trips at some point during this year and next year, and I thought it would be a good thing to talk about because it's something that I've been doing for a long time. So I thought today it would be cool if I went over how to save up for travel. So the first thing you want to do is to set clear goals. You really have to set solid goals. Even if you're not 100% sure about how much it's going to cost you, just have a goal in mind, because if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So if you don't have a goal to work towards, the chances are is that you're not really gonna be able to make it happen. Just because you don't know what you're saving towards. Think about where you want to go and use that to figure out how much it's going to cost you. So how much accommodation's going to cost, food's going to cost. There's lots of information online about local costs for food, drinks, travel especially is an important one. So local buses, getting an Uber. Usually if I'm going to a place, I will check in advance how much an Uber will cost from the airport or how much a local bus will cost. I usually use the local bus because I don't really want to pay for an Uber unless it's super cheap. So like when we were in Asia, I used Bolt a lot. I use like Bolt Tuk Tuk because it's so cheap and affordable. But if I'm in, say, Europe, I'm more likely to use the local bus because getting an Uber is not as efficient, and or getting a Bolt is not as efficient as it would be in, say, a lower cost of living country. So factor that all in and then come up with a goal and make that your basis for where you're going to start saving towards. Another thing to look at is maybe if you don't have a monetary goal, having a points goal. So this is something I have in my Notion. I have my travel rewards points tracker, and I have goals for specific places I want to go, and I have like a countdown for each of those goals. So I put my rewards points in there, and then it counts down, or it tells me the percentage of how far I am towards my goal for a specific location, whether it's the Maldives or to Korea or to Vancouver. Those are like a few of the places that I want to go in the future. So once I hit those, it says I'm there and it tells me how many points I have left to hit them. So I use American Express rewards points, so I can convert those points into pretty much any alliance, and that is a really good way to plan for travel. If you want to do a more free route or you're like trying to travel hack, I definitely recommend American Express. I know Virgin have their own credit card as well. I don't know if I want to use Virgin to fly yet. That's why for them it's I'm a bit more cautious, just because it will tie me to that specific airline. So that's something to think about. I will leave a code down below if you want to get some free points if you're already considering getting a credit card. Don't recommend getting a credit card if you're not good with managing your spending. I only got my credit card when I was getting married, and I knew I was going to be spending lots and I wanted to rack up points and I wanted travel insurance, so I got the Gold Amex, and it worked out to be so good because the lens was stolen in Asia and actually I got a reimbursement for that. So it's just something to think about. If you want to do it the cheap way, the free way, like me, I'm all about the free. Points might be a good way for doing it. And there's some great websites like Head for Points and The Points Guy. I think he's called The Points Guy. Those are two great sites if you're trying to find ways to spread your points or to make your points go further. Next thing to do is to create a travel fund. When you're creating a travel fund, you want to make sure that it's separate from all your other money, so that you're not dipping into it, or you're not just not knowing where you're at and not being able to track how much you've saved. So don't keep any of your money in your current account. Always have savings accounts or pots. I use personally Monzo, so I use Monzo pots. I have pots and sinking funds for loads of different things. So my Monzo account is specifically used for sinking funds that I have that I'm saving towards. So short-term saving goals mostly. I moved my long-term saving goal from my Monzo and put it in the S&P 500. Because I was like, I'm probably gonna be saving for this for quite a while. This doesn't make sense, I'm losing money. So if you have short-term savings goals, I would not recommend investing them because that is so volatile. Even with index funds, it's still pretty volatile. Anything can happen, as we've all seen. If you're investing, you will have seen all kinds of volatility. So I recommend using pots or savings accounts. If you have them already open, you could just dedicate one to each goal that you have. If you have locations-based goals or you have other things you're saving for, you might want to kind of consolidate all your traveling into one fund and have an amount for all of the different trips you want to take, and then keep track of that. And so that will be your total number that you're working towards. You could do it physically as well or online. Online, I'd say, is the best way just because it's really easy to do. No one really carries cash that much anymore, and I honestly don't ever go to an ATM, so I find that it's kind of not the best one to do it like physically with cash. But if you're someone who needs to have that hands-off or that hands-on, I guess, approach and not being able to access it online, and you do a lot of online spending and you don't trust yourself, take out cash, put it in an envelope, do that method of saving for it. The next thing is to commit to a set percentage. This one I think is probably the most important, because if you're not actually saving, you're never gonna get anywhere. And if you don't have a specific setup, you also will find it really hard. So I find that using percentages are the easiest way to do this. Just have a certain amount of your income going towards travel, basically, or towards your specific savings, and then you can divide it again. I'll actually put up my income allocation spreadsheet, and when I just get any income, I'm self-employed, my money comes in sporadically. When I get it, I put it into this, and it automatically sorts it based on what percentages I've set for the income to go towards. And you might as well automate it if you can. It's really easy to make. You could just looking at this, I'm sure you can make it. I hope. If not, then I don't know, I'll try and explain it at some point. But yeah, it's really simple. Set it to go to a specific place, a specific percentage. You can change the percentages as you go, but as long as you're using percentages, you won't feel stretched. I find that if you pick a specific number, you're gonna feel stretched if you don't make that much in a month, if you're, say, self-employed like me, or if you have some other expense come up and then you're like, oh, I guess I'll have to wait till next month because I don't have enough. But if you use percentages, then you'll always have enough, because it'll be relative to how much you have rather than a specific amount, if that makes sense. And the next thing is to save consistently. Without consistency, it's just not gonna happen. I keep saying that. Without this, it's not gonna happen, because that's true. That's the thing with saving. Like, if you don't do things consistently, you'll never see any progress. And I think that just automating it, if you can, if you do have a specific income coming in every month, you can set that like automatically with Monzo. It can just automatically allocate where your money goes. But if you don't have a specific amount coming in every month, just making sure that you're on top of it. Set a reminder on your calendar. Back before, when I started and I wasn't consistent and I had to remind myself to save my money, so I would set reminders to be like, allocate income to savings, put this amount in here, put this percentage in here. I used to set reminders for myself to remind me to do it. But if you're better at it, or if you get a steady paycheck every month of the same amount, you could just set it to automatically go to where it needs to go. So that way you'll actually reach your goals in a certain amount of time. Another thing you can try is motivational tactics. Just surrounding yourself with, this is one that's kind of like, it might be for you, it might not be, but like surrounding yourself with things that remind you of your goal. So I changed my computer screen to Bora Bora at one point. My phone screen is actually, it's not a beach anymore. It used to be though. That was one of the things I did when I was like actively really trying to save towards this specific goal. Just having that around you, having the trip around you, having the locations around you, looking up costs, looking at accommodations. Do all of this in incognito, by the way. Accommodations and flights, top tip, always in incognito. Only when you're going to actually pay or buy, go into normal mode. If you are, say, using a cashback site like Quidco or one of those sites to get cashback on your flights or your accommodation, don't look at them in your normal mode, because it will put the prices up. Cookies are the worst, and they will make your sudden flight that seemed like it was really cheap be really expensive a month later, so, or even the next time you check. So always look and search in incognito so that it doesn't keep track of what you're looking at and try and raise the prices, because that's a very common airline tactic. It's annoying. And now I'm second nature, always incognito. So anytime I'm looking for flights, incognito, looking for train tickets, incognito. So do that. Top tip. The final thing is to cut costs. Just cut back where you can. If you look at what you're spending your money, if you have a budget, look at your budget, see where your money is going every month, and then look at what you don't need, and then look at how much more you can save if you didn't use that thing, if you cancelled that subscription, let's say, that you didn't really need or use that much. How much more could you save, and what would that extra amount a month that you were spending on this, what difference would it make to you putting it towards saving for travel? If you really want to be like, I need to save ASAP and fast, just cut back everywhere you can, trim it all back, and then slowly add back those things when you find that you need them, rather than just having them just in case you might need them, i.e. Amazon Prime. I need to get rid of that. I don't know why I still got it. So those are my tips for saving for travel. Do you have any extra tips? Let me know down below. I'm always looking for new travel saving tips. I find that just knowing certain things about travel, always use cashback sites. Did I talk about that? Always use cashback sites. Always. If you're even, just do it. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. I will see you next time for another video. I hope this was useful. If it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye.